Hey everyone, Nathan Nerdarch here from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds, and today we're going to be talking about a character build, Warforged Druid. With me I have...
I'm Dave.
Ryan.
And I'm Ted.
And before we start, I wanted to mention the newsletter, which is where you can get all of nerdy news and info of what's going on with Nerdarchy, upcoming events, and also how to game with us. So you can sign up for that down below somewhere. There's going to be a link. Dave will put it in. And anybody have any particular ideas for the Warforged Druid?
Well, we've had several different requests for D&Dizing different characters and stuff. Especially like one of them that sticks out is Dinobot from the Beast Wars, which it actually works for pretty much any of the characters from Beast Wars.
Yeah.
But so
basically making an animal transformer.
Yeah, essentially that. If you go Circle of the Moon, your Warforged, your Druid, that basically gives you, that Transformer-esque character.
Yeah, except for if you're going to look like a clockwork animal, it does not help with your whole trying to disguise and look natural type of thing, unless you're a mechanist.
Well, that's true. So,
but it'll look cool.
Yeah, so you could go one of two ways, like you said, where you transform and do the clockwork thing.
Which badass.
Which looks really cool. Or, you really are a robot in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it doesn't work unless you make the noise when you change.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, the noise has to go on forever.
Now, and also, too, if you can get 5 of these druids together, they can form to, the mega transformers, the Devastators and this and that. That should be an option.
Oh, well, they did have
the
Predacon.
Zords. Or the Zords. They could turn into,
Fuck the Zords. Predacon was so much cooler. It traipsed right through those Zords.
Power Rangers, man.
Different generation. Sad.
I was never a fan. I was never actually a fan of it.
If you could actually have them be lions, then you can form Voltron.
Voltron, there you go. That's another
You
option.
could do that. We've actually had, like I said, we've had several requests for this, and, you could really, reflavor some of the spells. Like Thorn Whip, right? Make it a spike chain instead.
Or barbed wire.
Or barbed wire. Someone had made that suggestion. Either one of those would work. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And thematic. And I'm sure, Hail of Thorns, I'm pretty sure you could, you could
Shrapnel.
turn shrapnel or spikes or something, so you could do some
tips
really
your
cool.
fingers shoot off.
Yeah.
So, again, going with the clockwork version, the druids have the bonus to armor, which would migrate over to the animal form.
Yeah.
Because it's one of their racial traits.
Yeah, it's just the +1. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the toughest part is when you're going Circle of the Moon Druid, I feel like you're going to want to really rely on the animals for your physical stats.
So you want to have your physicals kind of be lower because you stat allocations and all.
And the Warforged get boned because they only get 2 +1s.
They get a +1 to strength and con.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, useful, hey,
you make a significantly less physical character.
Make the strength your dump stat, and there you go.
Well, yeah, you could, and also the one thing about the druid, you still want a high con.
Oh yeah.
So you could
that
put
transfers over.
You could put the your 15 in con. You'd have a 16 con, 14 wisdom,
And then allocate as you will.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want. So, what background?
So we're going Dinobot here? Is that the
well, we're not necessarily going Dinobot, but we are going Warforged Druid.
Right.
If it was Dinobot, it would be Soldier.
I was leaning towards soldiers because it's a Warforged, but perhaps he started off as a soldier, and the travesties of war were too much, so he left and just completely.
You going Hermit?
No, stick with the soldier background.
Oh, stick with the soldier.
But he left and he found nature and became a druid. And it's only through...
I'm a beautiful butterfly.
Literally.
An iron butterfly.
And it's only the events that cause the actual, player character to, get engrossed in something to say, okay, well, let's see, what the issue is with nature, that...
Dude, Barkskin is totally like him armoring up.
Yeah.
I would totally let one of my players really have fun with the spells.
Yeah.
Shillelagh, right? Maybe your club or your quarterstaff actually has more metal kind of form around it.
Or it goes with like an energon glow.
Yeah, something along
It's
that.
energon energy.
I mean, honestly, like in my earlier days of gaming, I would never let any of this shit fly. It's like you
Not
don't
at my table.
you don't put sci-fi in with my fantasy. You're fucking it up. This is not going to happen.
You don't change the rules. It's us versus him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've gotten older and less crotchety in my gaming, and like I just like a little bit different and more diverse stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could definitely do. Yeah, like you if you did like some kind of like messenger spell or something. I could see like the little antenna coming out. I mean, this one you could be a little silly with, but it would be funny.
Or messenger, like he could shoot out like little mechanical animals that.
That would be even better.
Like what's his face? So Soundwave.
Soundwave,
Soundwave
yeah.
had the awesome like
Eject.
ravage eject.
Thunderbeat.
Well, yeah,
Rumble.
for the summon animals,
Yeah, oh yeah. it totally
which
just
they do
eject.
have. You could totally do that. Like the chest plate opens up and that's where they pop out of.
Yeah, that would be pretty fantastic.
I think we've like in some ways just D&D'ized like 2 Transformers.
Yeah.
Oh, multiple, I think.
Yeah. So what else do we need to do? Do we want to full out do all the stats, or are we fine with going whatever?
I think
I think
putting the
picking highs and lows is good.
putting the the low strength, the high con with wisdom as your second.
Charisma, charisma, we can kind of, that could be like the second
No,
low.
oh, you mean wisdom as in the second best stat or under constitution? Because I really,
15 con, 14 wisdom, but because you get the +1 to con, it becomes a 16.
Oh, 10
Okay.
dex.
Yeah,
And then your other mentals are 13 and 12?
yeah.
That's their full array, really.
Yeah.
But we're not going to actually fill out the stats right now. Even though I think we just did. But yeah, I mean, that totally. 9 strength, 10 dex. Maybe you got damage in the war.
Yeah.
16 con, 12 intelligence, 13 charisma, 14 wisdom.
Or either that, or he was more of like a diplomat or something like
I
that.
thought you were going to say diplomancer.
Diplomancer.
Yeah, I was totally gonna say that. Yeah, like I mean, yeah. So maybe he's got, he's not really built for combat, but maybe he got trapped behind enemy lines and like bonded with the spirit of the land, and like that gave him the capacity to be able to do anything.
Or maybe he was just a drawer from the beginning, right? And like
He
was
conscripted.
he was just built that way.
He was constructed that way.
Yeah,
I was thinking more of a different style druid where you have this kind of leftover. I was going to pick hermit, make it like leftover from the wars. He was never really a soldier. He was just, that's the job he did. It wasn't like he didn't have an aptitude for it. So he's like sitting there rustling away. Conscript it. He's like, you can hold a sword and you're metal. You can take a hit. Get in there. So he would awaken to be like, he had been covered in a landslide at some point. So he awakens, hundreds of years later, able to see because like the water has washed away like whatever was on him, and he starts animals walking around him and stuff like that. So he kind of gets like this awe for things that are different than him. So how like to us magic is otherworldly, but to a machine, organics in a way can seem otherworldly, especially the cool ecosystem. All kind of everything has its like place and parts.
So instead of worshiping nature per se, maybe worship life.
Yeah, like the grand machine that is life.
Yeah. So I was also thinking too, his druid could be from that, like he's made from like special materials like trees and stuff like that. Like so, like he's awakened within because like he's made from things that are like very close to nature.
Yeah.
So
I was considering being all like rusted and busted up, and that's why he's like weak.
Yeah. I mean that could be one way, or
Well, yeah, I like the idea of having it be
like he's
composite parts of organic material.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's replaced broken pieces with.
Warforged
Why not
are
do
wood
both?
and metal. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the
there,
idea.
there's wood in Warforged.
Yeah,
as
being
well.
like a rusted up piece that's getting replaced different parts over the years because he's super old. Because the Warforged don't have an age, right? They're just
No, they don't really age. They just
they
get
go
the
they go until they're done.
Yep.
So someone says there can only be one that lops off their head. Wow. So that's pretty fleshed out. We have it. Background, class, race,
Stats.
a little bit of story put in there, a little bit of silliness, a little bit of wonkiness. Makes for a good character build in my book.
I'd play that character in a heartbeat.
What about you guys? Would you play that character? Would you create that character? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out at Nerdarchy on Instagram.
You can come check out Funny Memes on Facebook.
You also check out Nerdarchy, the forum, over at nerdarchy.com.
So until next time, stay nerdy.